This is day 18. It's day 18 of our Canadian Wine Challenge on YouTube. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. What are we opening today, Carl Boucher?
Well, first and foremost, we are tasting a different Canadian wine every single day. And today we're going to the Similkameen Valley in British Columbia. The valley just next to the Okanagan, where is one of the most dramatic landscape in Canada. So we are tasting Courcelette Estate Winery. This is their flagship wine, the Talus Red Blend. So what we have in there, it's a blend of almost 50% Merlot with, I would say, probably 25 and up of Cab Sauv, a quarter of Cap Franc, and a little splash of Malbec and Petit Verdot. So the classic Meritage, the classic Bordeaux blend from one of the most intriguing growing region in Canada. And to be honest, one of my very favorite, because they make some very unique wine, a little bit more rugged, a little bit more dry, a little bit more sophisticated. So we'll talk all about why the Similkameen Valley is so different than everything else. But Mira, I know that this is one of your favorite spot as well, and we always have a very great experience with wines from the Similkameen, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love it for a couple reasons. It is in part of Canada's only desert. So it's right adjacent, like right at the desert. So there's actually cacti everywhere. And you just saw it. I mean, it looks like the freaking National Geographic surrounded
Absolutely.
by mountains and cacti. It's just
Fighting
the
with
wildest place. And then the wind sweeps in at night. It gets hot during the day and the wind sweeps in at night. So wind is part of the terroir. It makes it much easier to farm organically because the wind actually shakes all the pests and the fungi and stuff off. So the whole Similkameen, from what I understand, is organically farmed. And and it beats up the grapes, doesn't it? So you get like more of that rugged tannins in the wines.
You're bringing some very good points here, right? So the rugged tannin. Look at that view up here. This is Charlie Bessler, the owner, winemaker at Courcelette Estate. We are at the very top of the of one of their estate vineyard with an incredible view of the Similkameen Valley. But yes, this is Canada organic capital of the country. There's anywhere else. There's no other region in the country who grow orchard fruits, vegetables, or whatever type of produce that they're growing. No one else, nowhere else, are growing more organically than the Similkameen. And you just mentioned there's a very specific reason about that, because the wind, the heat, and the cold night protect. It makes it not very easy, because I don't really believe that there's anything easy in producing, in being a farmer. But yes, this is the organic capital of the country. Now, you mentioned a very key component of the specificity, why these wines are so unique: the wind. Yes. So late afternoon, when they hit 3 o'clock, that's where the wind comes in and sweep the valley big time. And that always keeps everything dry, right? And also, you mentioned, beats up the grapes, get the skin thicker, so that gives more tannin, which is the molecule in the skin of the grape, who makes that sensation of dryness in your mouth, right? Makes your mouth a little puckery, makes your wine a little bit bigger, bolder, and a little bit more rugged. And that's what softened up with time, with age. So yes, the wind is part of the terroir, part of the very unique terroir of the Similkameen, but also two other things. First and foremost, the big hot temperature during the day. Okay, so this is a desert. It is really hot during the day. It's not rare to see temperature all the way up to 45, 46, 47 degrees in the Similkameen. But just like in every desert, the temperature plummet at night. So the temperature goes down, and that diurnal shift between the very high heat of the day and the cold night, what does it do to the grape? It preserves the natural acidity of the grapes. That is a big thing. Why is Napa Valley are in trouble? Why is California is in trouble? Why are these regions are in trouble in sense of that now they have a hard time to preserve acidity in their grape? Not only the temperature goes up during the day, it's warmer, but it's warmer at night. So the vines don't have time to cool off at night because it's too hot. In the Similkameen, you don't have that problem. It pummels. It like I absolutely get super cold at night. So the acidity, the vines preserve that natural acid. What does it do? Acid help the aging potential. Acid help keeps everything lifted, right? This is one of the major component of the wine. Alcohol, acid, tannin, these are all together, right? So there's that. And also the volcanic soil. You have these alluvial fan sitting on top of this beautiful volcanic soil. This is like the picture you show, right? These beautiful mountain were crafted by these big glacier going through. And great, it makes it really hard for the vines, the roots to go through. So the vines have to work extremely hard. But if you read about viticulture or whatever, harder the vines have to work, better the wines or better the fruit is going to be. So the Similkameen is a really prime, beautiful region to grow grapes. So now this is about the region, the Similkameen Valley. Now let's talk about Courcelette Estate. Let's talk about the Talus, and let's talk about the vintage, because this is 2019 vintage, and this is one of my very favorite in the whole. Let's say we started to taste Canadian wines from the 2016 vintage, let's say 15, 16. This is where we really started tasting Canadian wines, you and me. 19 has to be one of my very favorite vintage. Why? Because it's not the warmest. It's not the vintage who has built some of the big fruit bombs, some of the big monster wine that sometimes people seeking from the Okanagan or the Similkameen, because they know, people know in Canada that we can produce these big and bold wines. No, 2019 is a colder vintage, but 2019 provides, it is a vintage where it will age like a charm. So 19, and I have many, many examples. We'll talk about it a little bit after, which the winery of the South Okanagan or winery in BC provides some of my favorite best wine. But here, this is the Talus. I rated the 2018 94 points of Talus. So this is the first time that I'm tasting 2019. I am pretty darn excited, okay?
So you've had 2019 Talus before.
Let's put the Novino in here, okay? Because it's a big, bold Bordeaux blend. I want to decant that. So this is my favorite toy here. This is my Novino. I will decant my glass of Talus 2019 here. And Mira, if you want to join me, or if you want to come and get your prize.
Oh, I'm going to come and get my glass. But I need to ask you something. So you said you've had the 2019 before, but I don't have your
2018.
Your
I tasted the 2018 before, but I don't think I've ever had the 2019.
No, I have a 94 points in 2018, and then I have a 92 plus points for 2021.
21 and 18. There's the two Talus that I've tasted in the past. Yeah, let's see where the 19 is sitting. So very savory on the nose. I got lots of sage, lots of rosemary. Some also like violet. So there's that floral and herbaceousness on the nose, the savoriness, it's totally there. And also loads of dark fruit, black cherry, black currant, dark plum as well. Let's remember, this is let's say, like specifically, this is a 45% Merlot, 28% Cab Franc, 21% Cab Sauv, 4 Malbec, and 2 PV.
Whoa, nice
Boom.
blend.
Yeah, see that savoriness, the
amazing.
sage, the rosemary, that's really, really predominant. But there's also like that tobacco, like almost pipe tobacco. My grandpa used to smoke the pipe, and I can smell like that type of a. Also, that cedar, a little bit of vanilla, probably from the barrel. 18 months in barrel. I would say probably with the Talus, you're at 35% of new oak. That's my guess. Higher in alcohol, you're at 14.5. So let's see how the alcohol sit on that. But
that nose is freaking amazing.
Isn't it? Lots of chocolate.
Wow.
Tobacco.
Wow. Mm. Mm. Ha! That's a great wine. Holy smokes.
So 2019, this is now a 7-year-old wine. This wine, I mean, the tannins has resolved. The tannin are not in my face. The tannin are soft. Love shows up a little bit more on the mid palate towards the end. Soft entry. The savory on the nose translate to the front palate as well. The front palate is not all about fruit. The front palate has this sequence of almost grind coffee, like fresh grind coffee.
Torrefaction.
The torrefaction. You got that right. I like that. And like the sage also comes up at the forefront. Black cherry, black currant follow through, hitting a little mid palate with dark chocolate, where the spice starting to develop. There's a special relationship here between acidity and alcohol. Usually when I get the 14.5, I kind of feel like it's going to be a heavier wine. This wine is very lifted. This wine, the acidity on this wine is fairly high. Bright and fresh. Even at 19, it's still very fresh. This is something that, counterbalance, like the 14.5 alcohol definitely doesn't show that any heaviness, right? Very well integrated with the oak. I feel some oak. I feel the spice, the oaky spice, like that Christmas cake towards the end. A little bit also of graphite, like minerality. I found that a lot in the Similkameen wines, often in the Syrah. That little graphite-like, like charcoal-like. There's a little smokiness on the nose too. And I like that. There's a precision on that wine. Other vintage, warmer vintage, I will attempt to describe it a little bit more as bold and rich. This is not what it is. It is more focused, it's more precise, and there's a lot of tension in that wine. Even at 14.5, it's kind of a paradox here a little bit. But
delicious.
Dark fruit, floral. I know there's only 2% of Petit Verdot, but I kind of feel there's a little bit more. Yeah, dark color as well. So this is a very typical rugged type of Similkameen flagship wine. At
I'm
that
just putting
stage, whoop, you go ahead.
Just putting a link in the comments. If you are new here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're over on Facebook or Instagram, head on over to YouTube. We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube so we can spread the Canadian wine discoveries. And we would love for you to join us. It's free to join Carl's Wine Club as well. I'm going to put the link in the comments here over on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a few things that I love from the Similkameen. My favorite grape from the Similkameen are definitely Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah. This is the two grapes that I really love from there. My top choice, Cap Franc, I would say grow fantastically well in the Similkameen. On the white side, Rieslings and Chardonnay. They produce also a wonderful Gewürztraminer at the estate of at Courcelette. Sorry, here. Also, some wonderful rosé. Holy smokes! It's been a slice that we've been there. Look at that. The kids are really young.
We've tasted so many rosés from coast to coast, and Courcelette's is always in the top 5.
Always, and they do it a Syrah with a splash of Malbec. I think. Yeah, really cool. Really like I can't remember the name of their rosé. Used to
Oracle.
Oracle, thank you. Well done.
I mean,
folks.
I can't wait to revisit it because 2024, many of you already know 2024 vintage in BC was kind of a wipeout. People had to import grapes from out of province because there was a deep freeze and like 95% of the grapes were done. So we're missing Oracle from 2024. I think their 2025 is out or will be. So that's very exciting. Carl is clearly a happy taster right now.
Yeah, I'm just right in my head right now because this is such a representation of the vintage. Like I said, right? Higher acid, bright focus, crisp. I like that crispness on the dark fruit. Even if the tannin has resolved or starting to soften, there's still that world where that wine showcase precision and energy, which is very interesting. 7 years old now, and I'm looking at some notes back in the 2022, when this wine was released, and people were saying this wine should be drank in 2026 and all that. I mean, this wine is just starting to get going. Wonderful blend, wonderfully built. And one of the things, again, that I mentioned multiple times in this 15 minutes is that 14.5%. Don't get fooled by thinking this wine is like an alcohol bomb, like hot and heavy. It shows completely at the opposite with a higher percent alcohol that I cannot detect in the structure of that wine. So well done, well built, well aged, and this wine has another at least 3 years to shine. And I mean, a beautiful wine, 92 plus. I would give that wine, that's for sure. This wine will maybe not necessarily get better at this stage. I think it would just like keep melting, keeping his personality, which is such a classic profile of the Similkameen. So well done, Jesse, Charlie at Courcelette, and the whole Similkameen wine industry. You guys rock. We love what you guys are doing out there. And if you have a chance, I have to tell a story, Mira, before we go. I remember taking a group from all over Canada of winemakers and winery owners in the Similkameen. Okay.
Yes.
You were there with me. And we had Jean-Benoit Deslauriers from Benjamin Bridge in Nova Scotia. We also had Lou Puglisi and Marcel Morgenstern from Niagara on the Lake from Bellaterra. And imagine a farmer who's been farming for 25 years in Niagara on the Lake, which is known almost as the flattest wine region in the country.
They're flat, yeah.
Walking out of the truck And walking in the vineyard in the middle of this really dramatic landscape of the Similkameen. And I'm just like, remember, been standing beside Lou and he's looking around and he's like, holy motherfucker. It's like, I cannot believe that people grow grape around here. It was like that, like just that how surprised people from across the country walking and like looking at the landscape of the Similkameen and how impressed.
It's really something out of like
You
National
mentioned it,
Geographic.
National Geographic, right?
Yeah, here I'll show you guys. I'll show you if you're curious.
Yeah,
Look at this.
it's worth it. It's worth it for you to show a few.
You see that? I mean, that is what we're talking about. It's super
That's
rugged.
exactly the day that we are talking about. This is Jean Benoit, the winemaker. This is Lou and Jeff Undermark, winemaker at Mount Boucherie. And here you go. That's the truck that I'm talking about. That's exactly the moment.
It's amazing. It's just so rugged and incredible. Look at this. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those places it's worth a detour. Like most people go to the Okanagan and they don't know the Similkameen is right next door. It's what, a half-hour detour maybe? You do need
half hour, 40
at least
minutes,
a half a day.
depending on which side, yeah.
And
let's talk about it. What is like the key? This is Bottega Wine Studio. That's one of the, I was just about to say that one of the next wine from the Similkameen that I'm going to crack open from this show here. It's going to be that Daniel Bonterin at Bottega Wine Studio is Cabernet Franc, 100% new oak, I believe, that he made a few years ago that we tasted at our Cab Franc Marathon. That was my very top cab, my second top cab of our 60 wines that we tasted side by side. But Bottega Wine Studio, he makes some of the very best rosés in the country. And if you're in that region, Vanessa Vineyard is another winery that you have to visit. Orofino, obviously Bottega Wine Studio. You have Courcelette, you have Clos du Soleil. So there is a bunch of outstanding producers. And keep an eye for the Syrahs from the Similkameen. This is very special. Yeah. So here is the a little blog here, a little bit of our impression of the Similkameen Valley, of one of the flagship wine of the Similkameen, the Talus at Courcelette Estate, that I just read 92 points from the 2019 vintage. Something to remember. Courcelette or the Similkameen, rugged profile, dry, complex, lifted acidity. That's what you get in those wines, right?
Oh, to me, that's definitely more than 92 points. We're going to have to retaste that once it's opened up a little bit. That is a big dog and it's gorgeous. Oh my God. So good.
It is. And it's starting opening up to a little bit more spice who's starting to show up now. That's going to be interesting to taste tomorrow. And before I let you go, I just want to have a little sippy sip here of the yesterday wine, 94 plus points, Daubin Estate Chardonnay. Okay, because we were talking about acidity yesterday. We're talking about 2020 vintage in Ontario, how sometimes winemakers miss the mark on preserving the natural acidity in the Chardonnay, especially from that vintage. So it's been a day open now since yesterday from that 20-mile bench Chardonnay at Daubin. And we're going to have the chance to meet with Peter Gamble and the team at Daubin on a private Zoom tasting in a couple of weeks.
Yes, members. A lot of you have already gotten the invite, and we can't wait for that. So hope you can join us.
Yeah, the nose hasn't oxidized yet. And we had a little bit of fun with that bottle yesterday. So we tasted through half of the bottle in one day. Usually we taste the same wines over for 5 days. If we keep going at the same pace, this bottle is done after 3 days. So it really shows how much we like it. Mira and I, we're freezing it multiple times a day. But no oxidation yet after 24 hours and a half bottle gone. So lots of space for air in the bottle, more chance to oxidize. No oxidation on the nose yet. that classic 20-mile bench nose. And let's see here, how's the acidity? That's what I want to revisit. You see if that wine, that specific 2020 Daubin, is there to last, okay?
Yes, we had a lively and respectful conversation about the 2020s. Phenomenal vintage in Niagara, especially for reds. But on the whites, it got pretty hot. So that's something that winemakers had to manage. What do you think, Carl?
So what I think here, the acid's still there. Is the acids high? No. Okay. So that wine has starting to, but like I said, 24 hours with half of the bottle gone. That tells me that the wine is built solid. Now, you and me are gonna have, because we didn't put the air, we didn't suck the air out yesterday. I just put the cork, just the tip of the cork.
This is our like, processing methodology. Okay, so this is like we leave the bottle like that with lots of air floating around for 24, 48, 72 hours. Gives us an idea of how that bottle will age.
So still showing great, still showing that 20-mile bench, no oxidation. But yes, it's not that vibrant wine that it was at the opening yesterday. But in perspective, with the amount of wine that we took out yesterday and the amount of air that was in the bottle, it's kind of expected. But yeah, for the 2020 vintage, I would say this wine is very solid. So yes, like a masterful wine at the opening. I would say probably 2020 has 3 to 4 years left. That's my assessment at this stage after tasting it. 3 to 4 past this year. Exactly. Yeah. And 2020 will pummel pretty quick. That's not a wine who's gonna last. It's not a wine who's going to held up.
It's a wine for people like me that like to drink it within 5 years of release, which I think is great, or 7 years of release. Yeah. It's a really beautiful snapshot of Niagara history as well. That site that wine is from is pretty special. So we can't wait to hear all about that with Peter Gamble himself, the winemaker, on March 26th. So if you're Carl's Wine Club member, I mean, you should join. If you're not, it's free to join. We have invited a lot of our VIPs and all of our collectors to that tasting with Peter Gamble. Peter's like, one of the original proponents of Canadian wine. I mean, he started VQA Ontario so that there would be like quality standards in Canadian wine for the first time.
Oh, exactly. Right. He's been at the forefront of all of the innovation and all of the improvement that we've seen here in Canada in our wine system, in our wine legislation. He took over as the top consultant of some of the very best wineries now. I mean, he built from the ground up Benjamin Bridge and Daubin and Stonebridge. He got his hand on so many incredible projects.
And I think there's a lot of wineries that he is working behind the scenes, and I believe Stonebrook.
Stonebridge.
No, but the other one, Southbrook.
Well, that was more exactly.
And Southbrook and Ice Cellars, and there's more, I'm sure, that we will find out more about on the 26th. So yeah, hope you can join us for that. And this week in Carl's Wine Club, if you are following our discoveries so that we can help shortcut your discoveries, we have reviewed and tasted tons of Mary Nissen wines and collab wines. We're bringing you 9 very special wines from Mary Nissen this week. And they include member pricing up to $15 off a bottle. Like that Merlot, for example.
This bottle, I mean, $15 off for a 2020 Merlot. I give it 92 points. Absolutely freaking awesome. Like that Merlot.
$30 including tax, you guys. If you're from BC. Yeah, if you're from BC, that's like a $26 wine. And this is for a Merlot. Is it single vineyard?
From 3 different vineyards on that.
3 vineyards?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Niagara. This is the
And
best barrel. This is the barrel selection of the best
right.
barrel of the 2020 Merlot in the cellar at Marinescent. Transfer 18 months in oak. They kept even at 2020 vintage, the alcohol at 13.5. Everything now is well integrated. The savoriness of that Merlot, it's fantastic. Yeah, $15 off. If you go on their
Amazing.
website, they're 45. We got it for $30 this week.
And there's more like that, you guys. There are some phenomenal deals from Marinescent this
Including
week.
a Merlot Malbec. Merlot Malbec, awesome blend that I really, really like too. 92 plus points, so we need to check that out as well.
All right. And probably my favorite surprise discoveries from there too. It's the Cab Franc Riesling. It is so good, you guys. It is fantastic. It's super surprising blend. I mean, you don't often see a white and a red like that, but it's really good. Well, thank you for joining us. Hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We'll be live every day or posting a video of a different wine discovery from Canada until then. And after that, we'll do even more crazy stunts. So stay tuned and hit subscribe. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Day 19 tomorrow.